you're coming in, I guess, on year 2 of the overall rebuild under Torts. This team is kind of settling in between one that's patient and kind of waits for the game to come to them, but you also still push the offensive side, and you're a big part of that. Is it just a good combination right now of those two things, you think, that's been part of the success here?
I think a big part of it has been how we've started games, especially in this streak, how we've come out with the first goal in the game. I've heard guys talk about what last year was like, and it's tough when you're down in games. You have to change how you play. You have to push a little bit more. And, yeah, I'd say right now a good characteristic that we have is patience. We're not forcing plays, but we have the offense and the skill to be able to turn really, one turnover or one mistake on their end into offense. And when you have the lead, you can be a little more patient. You're not forcing plays, and you're not rushing out of position in order to create offense.
Is that, I guess, something that probably has got to be sharpened during a game, right? Because you're out there and everything's flying left and right, and you got to be able to see that there's a mistake that you can jump on, whether it's something you can get to or something you do have to lay back and defend. I mean, that's just something that's got to come with game speed, right?
Yeah, and it's the time of the game too. Yeah. We talk a lot about that in our room on where are we in games, momentum swings, and how that can shift your mentality on what you need to do. We've played, I think about that game in Carolina, and you look at us. I think we went into the third up 3-1. I think that was what it was, and that's a big momentum change. We had that last part of that second period. We had to make sure we were tight, and that's that patience, right? And it helps when you're up. Otherwise, in that barn, it's a tough one to fight back. So it's reading the game. It's that communication on the bench too. And right now, I think we're on the same page. I think you go back to some of those games that you say we maybe should have won. When you looked at it and we lost, and why did we lose? Was it the mental part or the physical part? And I think that's something that we're growing out together.
What do you think after the first period, winning versus losing, going into the first intermission? Teams, the records aren't great, and that's not just with the Flyers, it's with a lot of teams across the league. And there's still 40 minutes left if you're down. Why do you think that it's hard to come back in games like that?
I think when you just look statistically, it's like a lot of things, right? Why don't teams come back down 3-0? It's most of those teams win, and I think that's what it looks like. You see, it's hard to score in this league, and teams know. Teams are veteran enough to know how to hold on to leads and realize that's how you come out of games with points, is understanding where you're at in the game. I would say a lot depends on who goes into the period, with a break with the lead. So I'm not sure I have an answer for you other than, it's a lot better to have the lead.
Does your game change if you have the lead? Like, do you clamp down a little bit more? Are you a little bit more careful or a little bit more, looser in how you play because you have that lead? Do you think
I would say that would probably get you in more trouble. I would say we talked about a little bit is patience. And it's not saying you're not aggressive, but the patience of not forcing plays, knowing where you are. When you have a chance to have someone, that's what they always say, it's 200 feet away from your net, they're probably not going to score a goal. So knowing that situation when to make a play at the blue line or when it's not there. And those reads in the game are fast-paced. But that's, I think, what helps you win games in the end.
You're a veteran now. Are you normally a morning skate guy? Is this something that you like to do before games to get going?
It varies. On the 7:30 game tonight, and just to look at that, I like getting on the ice. It's nice to, I think all optional skates are set up a little differently too. You get a lot more puck touches. You get a little more 2-on-1s. The drills are different, so it's nice to mix it up.
You see guys seem to be working on a lot of drop shots and a lot of drop passes, and crossing and whatnot. Is that something you think has been lacking in the game right now? In practice.
I think that was just today.
And yesterday in practice.
I think that's a sequence and a flow drill that gets us up and down the ice together. I wouldn't say it's anything that we're focused on in the game. I'd say we'd probably rather have the guy driving the net. But it's a way to create space, and it's a way to get more movement.